Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I hope everything's okay in your life. In this video you will find an updated version of series I prepared in the previous years. You're in luck for listening to the explanation because I felt the need to quickly discuss the content of the video. Each video will feature an interview with a class master about either the Succession or Awakening versions of a class. All videos, including the older ones, will be available in the playlist you see on the screen. You can find the link of the playlist in the pinned comment section. The purpose of this video series is to help you understand the basic role of the class within the game. I must clarify that it is not a deeply detailed guide. You will watch an interview in a conversational style aimed at answering the fundamental questions of those interested in playing a class. The class masters featured are experienced players who have dedicated thousands of hours to their class and to the Black Desert Online. You may recognize some and not the others, but unfamiliarity does not make them bad players. All the class masters mentioned have proven themselves in Black Desert Online world. Please be respectful when sharing your thoughts. Enjoy watching. Hello guys, welcome. Today's guest is Lua for Succession DK. How are you, Lua? Welcome.
Hello, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
May you please introduce yourself? Who are you? Where are you from? Which server are you playing at?
My name is Luca, going by Lua. I'm from Germany and I play on EU.
Thank you. How did you find out about BDO? What caught your interest to stay in BDO?
I started in 2019 just looking for a new MMO, nothing special, and basically just the treasure grind kept me going and the long progression journey. Yeah.
Thank you. Have you ever taken a break from playing BDO? If so, what motivated you to come back?
I've taken multiple breaks in the past in 2019 and 2020, but because I've never really stopped following the updates and expansions of the game, I just kept coming back for the new content.
Thank you. How long have you been playing the class you're currently playing, the DK? Have you tried any other classes?
DK was my first created character, and I've played her ever since. I've played a lot of classes. I tried them out, but I always just stuck to DK. When Megu's Succession first got announced, I was kind of hooked and even considering rerolling, but ultimately I just stuck to DK.
Thank you. What sets the class you play apart from the other classes? What is a special thing in DK?
So the special thing about DK for me was I was always kind of playing the magic classes, and I didn't want to go for the classic wizard, so I still wanted a magic-esque class, so I just went for DK because it's a magic assassin, and yeah, she's just perfect design for me.
I'm not gonna lie, finally someone admitted that DK is assassin. Whenever you talk with a DK, they most of the time refuse that they are not assassin type class.
Yeah.
Is their class evasion or damage reduction, or both playable, and why?
DK is 100% DR. Do not consider evasion because you have nothing in the kit to support an evasion build. You basically trade accuracy and damage for no gain on her. Yeah, just DR.
Thank you. What's your current gear score? Do you rush your gear progress, or you just take it easy type of player?
Right now, I'm 752 gear score, and I never really pushed for a gear score a lot. But ever since I finished my treasure grind, I was focusing more on gear, but I'm not really rushing it, especially on the armors. I still have tri-armors, and yeah, not rushing right now.
Is your class newbie friendly? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate its difficulty? You can separate it as Succession and Awakening if you want.
For Succession, I would put her at a 7 or 8 out of 10 for difficulty. You just, most of the time for PvP at least, you need to be pretty crafty. She's not too straightforward, and you need a lot of matchup knowledge to properly make use of the kit because of all the block jumps and the movement and stuff.
Thank you. So we talked the basics of the DK. Let's talk a little bit detailed about a DK. We are curious about your thoughts on the PV situation of DK, of Succession especially. Could you provide us detailed information separately for early, mid, and end game?
So for early game, she has insane pack-to-pack movement. The only downside, I guess, that you have to be inside of the pack because you lack a lot of range damage. But overall, really strong. For mid game, she has a ton of range pulling skills. Your bombs, your slanted balance, your obsidian ashes. Your damage is also very good for spots like Sekraya and Orcs. And for endgame, the DPS uptime is very good, still a little bit behind of Awakening, unfortunately, but she is also very comfy to grind with because you can cancel out of every skill with your iframe due to the Succession passive. Yeah.
What about the DPS? Can you compare the DPS with the other high DPS classes?
Hard to say. She is definitely up there, but after I grinded a lot since the recent patches to PvE on Succession DK, she definitely feels kind of a little bit behind.
Let's talk about PvP. People mostly think about PvP in this class. We are curious about your thoughts on the PvP situation of the class you're currently playing. Could you provide us with a detailed information separately for 1v1, 1vx, AOS, 5v5, Guild League, Nodes, Siege, War of the Roses?
For 1v1, she is actually pretty crazy. She has a ton of rough matchups, but her ability to just punish every frontal guard at almost any given time makes her extremely scary to fight against. And for 1vx, she has a lot of crazy outplay potential because of course, again, the frontal guard punishes. And for AOS, she has crazy sniff ability due to her burst movement, and just her peeling also makes her awesome in AOS. For 5v5 Guild League, Uncapped Node War, and Uncapped Siege, I'm gonna throw them all in one pot because to me, she doesn't really feel too good at all because you basically get too skilled by everything on your screen if it's, of course, an uncapped scenario. So if you can't really do your job of picking squishy targets from the back, you are pretty useless most of the time. But for T1 to Tier 3 Node Wars, I have found a lot of success on her, top fragging most of the time, being at least in the top 3, and for capped content, she's awesome.
Thank you. I mean, from my experience, I almost never encounter with DK players. Only the chosen and like very high experienced DK players showing themselves in the large scale. It is normal because there are other classes can offer what DK offers, and they're better than DK. Like assassin classes, better assassin than DK. Like Musa, Maiwa they are faster and also they are offering better flying abilities. And I think that's what makes DK is a little bit behind the other classes about large scale PvP. You agree with that?
I do agree. Actually, I have to make the comparison right now because basically many people consider Awakening Megu being the update to Suck DK because she does the exact same thing as she does, but she has a heal, she has crazy damage, she even goes very well with evasion, and she's just the better Suck DK. Just straight to the point.
I didn't know that DK
Yeah,
Players is calling that Awakening Maigo is DK version 2, Zack DK version 2. Not gonna lie, when you said that, yes, you're right. Actually, you have good block jumps, you have better DPS, huge attack damage burst. The Succession DK version 2, you're right. Okay, is there a significant strong aspect of the class you're playing or the weakest? I mean, what is the strongest, what is the weakest thing in your class?
So for the strongest part, I would say is just straight up the burst movement and the ability to, again, frontal guard punish basically everything at any given time. And for the weak part, it has to be the self-sustain because you have no reliable heals outside of combat, which again makes her pretty bad in unkept content because should you survive, you can't heal up. You have to take like 10 years to heal up again. And yeah, and some matchups are also very tedious to deal on her.
Thank you. Are there any classes that clearly dominate your class, or are there any classes that your class can clearly dominate them, the counter matchups?
Yes, DK is pretty weak against, in general, block SA classes like Valks, Sagnovas, and stuff like that. And especially Gauntlets, they basically take no damage because of our horrendous modifiers. And yeah, the classes we dominate are obviously frontal guard heavy classes like Wusa, Awakening Zerker, Casters shouldn't be too much of a problem if you don't get permaslowed, and Succession Bladers, so Musa, Meiwa, classes like that get pretty hard countered by Succession DK.
Thank you. Is there a mechanic or skills in your skill kit that you would like to be buffed or nerfed?
I got a list, yes. So we actually have a self-heal, Spirit Satiation, but it heals 30 HP per hit, which is ridiculous. So I would please buff it. Imperious Command is a pretty cool skill, I would say, but it also got completely forgotten. It does nothing. You basically put a mark on an enemy that you can pop at any time, and it does a little bit of damage, but it's just non-existent. Vidir's Dogma is also a forgotten skill. They could also do something new with it. The Rabam cooldowns are horrendous on our, for example, for the Balance Strike, which is one of our movement skills. It has a 35-second cooldown. Pretty long, in my opinion. And for the last thing that I've been asking for a while is a rebind on Blooming Black Rose. That's our Magnus skill. You have a lot of skills on Succession DK that you trigger with RMB, which is the Magnus hotkey. And you basically are forced to lock it in PvP because of hit acceleration. You are very likely to use it on accident, and since it's unprotected, you will get CC'd inside of it.
I get it. I mean, you talk about Rabams. Rabams not the only problem of DK succession in game right now. Rabams, most of Rabams, they are outdated compared to new Rabams of the classes. Some of the classes, they have pretty good Rabams for PvP. In PvP, they have good options. They have good utility options mostly. And in PvE, they're dealing good damage. What I would expect from Rabams, we always have two different options, isn't it? One of them should be for PvP oriented, one of them should be PvE oriented. And they can just set them cooldowns and especially what they want. But especially the PvE oriented, I want to see them with a low cooldown, with a good, how I can just explain, with a good animation, I mean DPS. I want to really see that. PvP and PvE oriented. Which one you should pick? You don't need to ask that. For example, the first one always should be PvP. The second one always should be PvE. I mean, PA is trying to create this game is like more simple, isn't it? They want to simplify this game. Let's start from Rabams, isn't it?
It's just for DK. We basically have Obsidian Blaze, Wrath of Vidir, and Slanted Balance, which are completely useless and they never get used in any content. And yeah, you basically only have one choice. And your idea for PvP and PvE is pretty nice, but they would have to look at the game first, but they won't.
I mean, same skill issue like on other classes, core skills. If you check the all Awakening classes, I don't know how is the situation in DK. Maybe one, maybe two skills being okay, but the remaining core skills are completely useless. Even in the new classes, how they're being that much successful, I'm being sarcastic by the way, how they're being that much successful about making the core skills on every Awakening kid shit.
I don't know, for Awakening DK, it's also basically only one that is useful. The rest is just to disrespect and style on people. That's all it is.
Hopefully they can find some kind of solution for these Robams and the core skills. They can make the game even better. And you know what? I think we talked with Rylok. I'm not sure. I don't know which class master we talk. I want to see extra BSR skills in succession. At least 25, for example. It's because to dismount people, 1 or 2 BSR skills. It's because in succession, you do not have BSR. You only need to use 100% to dismount people. To dismount Tamer, to dismount your opponent, to dismount the cannon people while they're holding the cannon. That would be amazing.
I agree.
I mean, for only just use 10% BSR, no need to do extra things, just increase the multiplier 1, that's all. Just do nothing. Just make it BSR and the rule of the skill should work with BSR. So dismount, it helps the people.
Or just rework the dismounting mechanic overall, because all of these succession classes don't have 10 or 25, whatever percents, so they just can't do anything about horse people most of the time. So
I mean, you said that succession DK is assassin, isn't it?
Yep.
Can you dismount people from the cannon?
No, I can't.
I mean, you need to use your 100%, isn't it? Do you always have your 100%?
Of course not.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in your flank party, I guess. You're most likely to not have a shy there, and having 100% is very situational most of the time now.
I mean, even if you have 100%, why you just use your 100% to dismount people for one horse or for one cannon or something? It's 100%. It's a special skill. You can use it for crowded zones, or you may want to use it for special times before you engage. I don't know. You're using very special skill for only dismount.
Yep.
Just irritating. Can we get a brief summary of Succession DK, the good parts and the bad parts? Let's say that I'm an average player, or I'm a newbie, or I'm a casual player, and I want to reroll. I want to start with DK. What Succession DK can offer me, and what should I expect from Succession DK?
Yeah, if you enjoy the, I guess, edgy aesthetics of this magic assassin with crazy burst movement and stuff, go for it by any means. But if you hate being more glass than cannon, maybe reconsider.
Thank you.
Those are the good and bads. Yeah.
Thank you. I think that's enough for DK. Let's talk about game itself. What are your thoughts on BDO's current situation from past until now?
So most people have talked about this, but we have to mention it again. The quality of life in this game has shot through the roof. It's probably unrecognizable for players that played like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, just with the UI, the crystal presets, the Magna storage. By the way, shoutouts to the Magna storage, goated, and the Jetina pens. It's just awesome.
Yeah, it's not even 4 years or 3 years or something. My friend just quit game for 6-7 months or something when he just come back, when he just encountered all the quality of lives. I mean, I remember that it might be a little bit cringe, but I want to just roleplay what he said, what he did in the Discord when he just encountered the search function in the game. He was just looking for something. I can't remember the item. He was just saying that, fuck this, dude. Where is that shit? I can't remember where I just put them, but I had like thousands of them. And I just said, bro, just press Control F. He just pressed Control F. And he just started to say, wow, dude, what is that? Are you fucking kidding me? What is that? This is just a revolutionary feature. I love you, Mr. J. He's just turned into like a biggest Perlabis fan. Yeah, fanboy, exactly. I mean, it was amazing. When he just started to check like other things in the game, when he encounters something difficult, he was just saying that, is there something related with that? Yes, do that. And he was just giving the same reaction. He just turned into like a fanboy of Perlabis. And not gonna lie, for quality of life parts, I'm just a fanboy of Perlabis. They're doing insane things about game. and the quality of life is getting better and better every day. Small features making game better, easier, achievable, reachable, reasonable, viable, or I don't know what type of word you use, but it's definitely better.
Yep.
Okay, what I think PA company does well and what does bad about the updates especially. Let's say that you are the new Mr. J. Today, they just lettered you. They said that you're a new Mr. J. What would you like to add and remove from the game?
Okay, so first off, what I think is good is just them pushing updates week after week. You can't say that about a lot of games, period. The bad things is just, I think most of the time, the dev communication about balance and PvP stuff, and just in general taking years for balance most of the time. What I would do is probably, if I would care about the game, of course, is to be transparent about the dev progression and straight up would put the player base, drag the player base in for more feedback to push out more frequent balance updates, I guess. And also, to be honest, remove the resists in PvP and block SA as well. Nothing triggers me more than block SA.
Okay. I mean, if I were in charge, yeah, I would remove resists or replace with something better, less RNG dependent. What I would add, I think I would add something related with the class balance, the communication between community and the devs. Because, for example, the last PV updates, the last PV reworks, what they did is, it was quite irritating. They just gave a free DPS to almost any class, and some of them got cooldown changes, but nothing more. Instead of focusing the chronic issues on the classes, they just gave damage. But maybe the class has no need damage. Before the damage, the class needs something different. You said that I have, as a succession DK, I have many dead skills. Focus on them, fix them, make them viable, remove some hits, add something different. I don't know, do something. First fix them, then give damage if class needs. That's what I would do. I mean, I would just create a team, specifically communicate between devs and the community, especially the class masters, like it's Discord or something. And then I would just do all my updates, all my reworks about the classes in that direction.
Yeah. It's just insane to me how they did a really well job about the class rebalance in PV, but they basically just buffed every class to a certain point and just said, take it or leave it. Now you have to wait 1 or 2 years to get the next round of buffs. Take it. And you have a lot of classes that are still way behind. And they are probably not getting touched for the next half or 1 more year.
Exactly. I think it's because of the communication issue, because I understand that if you're a developer, you may have no time to play the game. It's obvious. You will have no time to play every class in depth. At that point, you have to ask Lua about Succession Decay. Hey, mate, what's the problem with Succession Decay? Give me a report, then I will check it. Then as a developer, you don't need to do everything what Lua said. But whenever you checked it, you can give, okay, this guy is saying, no, this is okay. This is okay. This is a little bit suspicious. It seems a little bit biased. Okay, just remove it. And they can fix it. Slowly but surely, all the classes' chronic issues. It's because whenever they release a new class, they are improving it. They are adding new things on new classes, or they are adding all the good things from the other classes, and they're just creating some kind of final boss type of class. And that final boss type of class is just making the new meta and making the other old classes outdated.
Exactly.
Okay, another question. What advice you would like to give to newbies, returnees, and the other players in the game?
Yeah, I would recommend just enjoy the game. It probably sounds a cliche, but just it's an open world MMO. Just enjoy the scenery. Nobody talks about it, but the newest expansion, the Land of the Morning Light, is just beautiful. And I would also say don't worry too much about your gear. Gear gains are as easy as never before, especially with the Hammer of Precision. So everyone can catch up in no time. Don't worry about it.
I want to talk about that subject. Normally, I'm not talking about that subject, but this time, I want to talk. You know what? Sure. Newbies, returnees, all of the guys, BDO is like ocean, okay? In that ocean, there are many parts you have to discover, but it requires time. If you rush for something, for example, for your gear, then you will not be able to discover something different. You will not discover how to become efficient, how to have fun, how to enjoy, what is life skill, what is fishing, what is cooking, alchemy, all the other things, what is barter. There are many ways to do them. There are many efficient and inefficient ways to do them. How to build fail stack, how to do PvE, what are the stats, what are the AP caps, spacious APs, positioning, down attack, back attack, all the CCs in PvP, all the class modifiers between each other. There are tons of things to need to learn. But please don't take me wrong. I'm trying to just showing that game is complicated, but do not frighten. That's because I'm saying that. Just take it easy, because it will take just a time. But whenever you understand how game is working, you will be able to play any class in PvE and PvP. People asking me how you're able to play any class whenever you tag them. Like in a few weeks, you just turn into like almost like a class master. You're getting maximum trash loot, you're doing good things, your movements, your mobility, your gameplay is turning to smooth. It's because even if I don't know how the class is playing, I learned in last few years, I learned in deeply how game is working, and this is helping me to understand how the class is working. Like whenever a new class appears, it takes like a few hours how to understand the class, because the deep mechanics are the same always, and they leads me to directly to find the best combo, best option, best situational thing. That's why. On the other hand, I have to add this thing to all newbies and returnees. Please do not just care the content creators, because they are content creators. Content creators, they might rush for their gear score. They might rush for new contents. They need to test them before you test them, because they are there for you. I am here for you. Lua is here there for you. And I understand that whenever just they watch me, hey, when you got Devo earrings, Devo rings, for example, I need to get them too. No, you don't need to get them. When you got it because of the content creation, but you do not have a responsibility of the content creation. There is nothing to test about the hardcap gear to compare with the other classes, to compare with the other content creators. We are doing it for content, but there is nothing to pushing you from behind. Take it easy, enjoy the game. The cliche, again a cliche, BDO is not a sprint. Take your time. It is a marathon. Do not burn out.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. There's just so many corners you can dive into, and BDO has something for everyone. Just you need to find it, basically, and just play the game, find what you like, and enjoy it. That's really all I can say to it.
Okay, we are reaching at the end of the interview. Is there anything else you would like to add before we finish?
Actually, I want to do some shoutouts to, first off, Jay Kuhn. He inspired me back in the day to even upload videos in the first place. And of course, shoutouts to you for everything you do for the community and for your support to me as well, of course. And yeah, that's all. Thanks for having me again.
I mean, I have to thank to Lua. Lua is DK God. He shared all his opinions, all his thoughts. They're priceless, because this game, everything is dependent on the experience. And finding experienced player is the most broken thing in the game. Thank you so much, Lua.
Thank you too.
Alright guys, do not forget, video is just a game. Have a nice game.